A terrifying discovery unfolded on the front steps of Nancy Guthrie's home in Tucson, Arizona. Neighbors and family alike were stunned to find what appeared to be blood outside the door of the 84-year-old mother of Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie. Late Saturday night, Nancy vanished under mysterious circumstances, setting off a frantic search across Pima County and beyond. Authorities quickly responded, and the Pima County Sheriff's Office is emphasizing that they are following every lead to locate Nancy. Federal agents have joined the investigation, reviewing multiple cell phones and digital records to reconstruct the timeline. At this stage, the circumstances surrounding her disappearance remain unclear. The sheriff confirmed that DNA connected to Nancy was found, but the exact details of how it relates to the scene, whether it is blood or other evidence, have not been publicly disclosed. The last known movements of Nancy Guthrie are being pieced together carefully. Law enforcement reports indicate that Nancy was dropped off at her home by her daughter Annie between 9:30 and 9:45 p.m. on Saturday after having dinner together. Nancy lived alone, and given her medical history, including a pacemaker, high blood pressure, and other cardiac issues, authorities are particularly concerned about her well-being. Dispatch recordings revealed that these health conditions were communicated early to responders, highlighting the urgency of locating her. Investigators are also examining digital evidence from her pacemaker, which is synced to an Apple Watch. The device last communicated at approximately 2 a.m. Sunday morning, offering a critical window into when she might have been taken. Her cell phone was found at the house, remaining stationary, which further supports the theory that Nancy did not leave of her own accord. Officials believe she was likely removed from her home against her will, as the scene suggested a potential crime. Video footage from News Nation shows what could be blood on the front steps of Nancy's house. While the amount may seem minor, authorities are cautious not to speculate publicly. The sheriff has reiterated that any conclusions drawn from this evidence are preliminary, pending further forensic analysis. The discovery has ignited a wave of social media speculation, with some individuals sharing unverified claims. The sheriff has warned against spreading misinformation, emphasizing that false reports can hinder the investigation. Despite this, the public remains deeply concerned for Nancy's safety, especially given her age and medical vulnerabilities. Adding to the complexity, there are reports that the Ring doorbell camera, typically mounted at the home, is missing. Authorities have not clarified whether it was removed prior to Nancy's disappearance by the potential suspect or as part of the investigation. The presence or absence of surveillance footage could prove crucial in reconstructing the events of that night. As the investigation continues, the community has rallied in support. Savannah Guthrie has not made any public appearances since her mother went missing, and her focus remains on coordinating with law enforcement. She has, however, posted a heartfelt message on Instagram asking for prayers and support for her mother's safe return. Law enforcement continues to appeal for any information. Anyone with knowledge of Nancy Guthrie's whereabouts is urged to contact the Pima County Sheriff's Department immediately. Their tip line remains open as investigators work tirelessly, examining every lead and piece of evidence. But as investigators dig deeper into Nancy Guthrie's last known movements, chilling new clues have emerged inside her home that could completely change the direction of the case. As the search for Nancy Guthrie entered its second day, authorities began piecing together a detailed timeline of her last known movements. According to reports, she was last seen around 9:30 to 9:45 p.m. on Saturday when her daughter Annie dropped her off at her home after dinner. Nancy lived alone in a quiet Tucson neighborhood, and given her medical conditions, including a pacemaker and high blood pressure, law enforcement is treating the situation with the utmost urgency. By Sunday morning, Nancy's absence became immediately apparent. She did not attend her regular church service, raising alarm among her family. The sheriff's office was notified around 11 a.m., and deputies arrived at the home shortly thereafter, discovering signs that suggested Nancy did not leave voluntarily. The The scene indicated that someone may have entered her home without permission, as reports of forced entry began to circulate. Investigators are examining digital records to help reconstruct the night's events. Nancy's pacemaker, which syncs with her Apple Watch, last communicated at approximately 2 a.m. Sunday. This detail has become a critical piece of the timeline, offering authorities a window of when she may have been taken. Her cell phone, left at her residence, provides additional clues, although law enforcement is reviewing multiple devices to understand the full picture. Federal agents, including the FBI, have joined the investigation to provide technical and analytical support. Their efforts include analyzing cell tower data, reviewing phone activity, and gathering all relevant digital evidence. These steps are designed to establish not only where Nancy was last seen, but also who may have been present around her home during the crucial hours of her disappearance. The Pima County Sheriff's Office is carefully managing information released to the public. With widespread speculation on social media and unverified reports circulating in news outlets, authorities are urging caution. False leads, including purported ransom notes demanding Bitcoin, have appeared, but the Sheriff's Office has neither confirmed nor dismissed these claims. They emphasize that unverified information can impede the investigation and mislead the public. Meanwhile, attention has also turned to the physical evidence at Nancy's home. Video from News Nation shows a small amount of blood on the front steps. While it is unclear whether this is directly related to Nancy's disappearance, authorities are treating the scene seriously. Additionally, the Ring doorbell camera, which may have captured critical footage, is missing. Investigators have not clarified whether it was removed prior to the incident, taken by the suspect, or handled as part of the ongoing investigation. Family involvement remains critical. Savannah Guthrie has shared messages urging prayers for her mother and highlighting the emotional strain on the family. Investigators are working closely with the Guthrie family, gathering insights about Nancy's routines, habits, and potential vulnerabilities. Understanding her daily life helps law enforcement narrow their search and identify leads that may otherwise be overlooked. Public cooperation is being encouraged. The Sheriff's Office has opened a tip line, asking anyone with information related to Nancy's disappearance to come forward. Even small details could prove crucial, and law enforcement is carefully analyzing every report to avoid false trails. The investigation has also raised questions about Nancy's personal and social contacts. Who had access to her home? Were there caretakers, neighbors, or service workers who may have interacted with her? Authorities are exploring every angle to determine whether the disappearance was opportunistic, premeditated, or motivated by other factors. With each passing hour, the urgency grows. Nancy's medical needs, including life-sustaining medication, heighten concerns about her condition. The first 48 hours are often critical in missing person cases, and authorities are leaving no stone unturned. And inside Nancy Guthrie's home, investigators have discovered clues that could reveal exactly what happened that night, but the details are more chilling than anyone imagined. As the investigation into Nancy Guthrie's disappearance unfolded, authorities turned their focus to the home where she was last seen. Reports indicate that the scene suggested a possible struggle. Blood was found on the front steps, and law enforcement confirmed the DNA belonging to Nancy was collected, though the exact details of how it connects to the potential crime have not been fully disclosed. Experts note that even a small amount of blood at a scene can provide critical forensic insights, especially when combined with other evidence, such as fingerprints, footprints, or digital traces. One of the most puzzling aspects of the case involves Nancy's Ring doorbell camera. While the mounting bracket remained in place, the device itself was missing. It remains unclear whether the camera was removed before the incident, taken by the perpetrator, or temporarily secured by investigators. If footage from the device exists, it could offer vital insights into movements around the home during the crucial hours of her disappearance. Investigators are also reviewing other possible surveillance devices in the neighborhood to piece together the night's events. Inside the home, investigators reported additional concerns. While official statements are limited, multiple sources suggest that the back door was found wide open, and there may have been signs of forced entry. Blood traces inside the house further complicated the investigation, prompting authorities to carefully collect and document every potential clue. The presence of blood could indicate that Nancy was injured during the abduction, or it might suggest a struggle between her and someone else in the house. In either case, forensic analysis is critical to determine the nature of these traces. Digital evidence has become a key component in this case. Nancy's pacemaker, which syncs with her Apple Watch, last recorded activity at around 2 a.m. Sunday morning. Investigators are analyzing the sync logs to understand her movements and condition during the night. Her phone, left at home, is also being examined, as is data from other devices potentially associated with the household. Law enforcement is working closely with federal agencies to process this information while keeping sensitive details under wraps to avoid tipping off any suspects. The vehicle of Annie Guthrie, Nancy's daughter and the last person to see her, was reportedly impounded for examination, though the sheriff's office has not confirmed this publicly. The focus remains on understanding who had access to Nancy's home and whether the perpetrator was someone familiar with her routine. Investigators are exploring whether forced entry was staged to mislead authorities or whether it points to an unknown assailant with knowledge of the home's layout. Experts emphasize that elderly individuals, like Nancy, are especially vulnerable in such cases. Her medical conditions, including a pacemaker and high blood pressure, make the timing of her disappearance even more critical. Authorities fear that delays in locating her could have serious health consequences, particularly if she is unable to access necessary medication. Every lead, no matter how minor, is treated with urgency. As the story unfolded, the media reported unverified claims of ransom notes demanding Bitcoin. While the sheriff's office has neither confirmed nor denied these reports, they stress that public speculation can interfere with the investigation. Law enforcement continues to sift through tips submitted online and reports from neighbors to build a coherent picture. Analysts warn that in high-profile cases, false claims and opportunistic schemes are unfortunately common. Public cooperation is essential. Anyone who may have witnessed unusual activity near Nancy's home or who has information regarding her recent contacts is urged to reach out. Authorities are reminding the public to report what they know, but avoid spreading unverified information, as it can create distractions and complicate forensic efforts. The combination of physical evidence, digital traces, and eyewitness accounts forms the backbone of the ongoing investigation. Forensic teams are meticulously analyzing the crime scene, ensuring that every detail, from the location of bloodstains to missing devices, is documented. Each piece of evidence could ultimately reveal who was involved, how Nancy was taken, and where she might be. And just when it seemed the investigation had a clear direction, reports of ransom notes and shocking online claims have thrown a new twist into the case, one that could change everything. As the investigation into Nancy Guthrie's disappearance progressed, new complications emerged, this time involving alleged ransom notes and the relentless spread of information across social media. On Tuesday morning, several media outlets reported receiving emails that appeared to be ransom demands, specifying Bitcoin payments and including ominous "or else" warnings. TMZ was among the first to report these notes, noting that the Bitcoin address provided was verified as active. Local Tucson news stations also confirmed receiving similar communications. While these reports grabbed headlines, the Pima County Sheriff's Office remained cautious. Officials have not confirmed the legitimacy of these notes, stressing that unverified claims can interfere with the investigation. They have emphasized that all tips and leads are reviewed by detectives and the FBI to ensure proper vetting before any public announcement. Law enforcement continues to advise the public against sharing or amplifying unverified information, warning that such actions can mislead potential witnesses or even alert suspects. Social media has played a major role in this case, with widespread speculation circulating about potential suspects and motives. Anonymous sources, unverified accounts, and online theorists have shared various claims, from kidnapping schemes to family involvement. Authorities have explicitly stated that some of these posts contain false or misleading information. The sheriff's office is focusing strictly on confirmed leads to avoid distractions that could jeopardize Nancy's safety or the integrity of the investigation. Adding to the digital trail, reports emerged that Nancy's Ring doorbell camera was missing from the home. It is unclear whether it was removed by the alleged perpetrator, taken as evidence by authorities, or simply non-functional. Investigators are pursuing other sources of surveillance footage in the neighborhood and reviewing any digital activity from cell phones, pacemaker data, and smart devices that may provide clues to her movements after 9:45 p.m. Saturday. These technological leads are crucial in establishing both the timeline and potential suspects. Amid these developments, the public's concern remains high. Savannah Guthrie, Nancy's daughter and a prominent television personality, has addressed the situation on Instagram. She posted a heartfelt message to her 1.2 million followers, requesting prayers and emphasizing the family's hope for Nancy's safe return. In her post, she stressed the importance of unity, faith, and humanity, asking supporters to join the family in raising their voices in prayer. This message reflects both the personal impact of the case and the broader community response. Experts caution that ransom notes, whether legitimate or fabricated, are not uncommon in high-profile cases. Opportunists often try to exploit situations involving wealthy or famous families, sending fake demands in the hopes of financial gain or attention. In missing person investigations, authorities are trained to treat each claim seriously until it can be verified, but they remain wary of schemes designed to mislead or profit from the family's distress. The FBI and local detectives are working in tandem to determine whether the alleged notes are authentic. This involves tracing the origin of emails, analyzing technical metadata, and cross-referencing details with known information about Nancy and her household. Investigators are particularly attentive to any specificity in the notes, such as mentions of personal items or routines, which could indicate insider knowledge or an informed source. Meanwhile, public vigilance continues to play a key role. Authorities encourage witnesses to report unusual activity or potential clues, while advising the public to avoid speculation that could cloud the investigation. Tips about suspicious vehicles, unidentified individuals near the home, or unfamiliar digital activity are being carefully evaluated. The combination of social media, alleged ransom notes, and unverified reports has added an unexpected layer of complexity to an already tense investigation. Every piece of information, true or false, can impact the case, making careful vetting essential. Law enforcement continues to coordinate with the Guthrie family, federal agents, and forensic experts to ensure the search remains methodical, thorough, and focused on locating Nancy safely. And as authorities dig deeper into the case, seasoned investigators are uncovering chilling details that reveal just how calculated this disappearance may have been, and who might be involved. With the search for Nancy Guthrie entering its fourth day, authorities and experts have begun analyzing the case from multiple angles, combining forensic evidence, digital data, and eyewitness accounts. The complex nature of this disappearance, involving an elderly woman with serious medical conditions, has made every lead crucial. Private investigators, former law enforcement officers, and federal agents are all contributing to piece together what may have happened on that fateful Saturday night. One of the most critical factors in this investigation is the physical evidence at the home. Reports indicate blood was found both on the front steps and potentially inside the house, prompting careful forensic analysis. While the sheriff's office has confirmed DNA belonging to Nancy, it is unclear whether this is the source of the blood. Experts emphasize that even a small amount of DNA can help identify suspects, confirm a struggle, or indicate movement patterns during an abduction. The missing Ring doorbell camera adds another layer of complexity. Surveillance footage, if it exists elsewhere, could reveal movements around the property or indicate whether the disappearance was premeditated. Investigators are also reviewing Nancy's pacemaker data, which last synced to her Apple Watch at roughly 2 a.m. Sunday. The timestamp provides a vital clue, helping law enforcement estimate when Nancy may have been removed from her home. Her stationary cell phone offers additional context, narrowing the window of opportunity for any potential perpetrator. Authorities are examining every possibility, including the theory that someone Nancy knew could have been involved. The reports of forced entry suggest an outsider may have gained access, but investigators are keeping an open mind. It is not uncommon in elderly abductions for the perpetrator to create a scenario that appears opportunistic, while in reality being carefully planned. Experienced investigators note that patterns of forced entry, combined with knowledge of the victim's routines, often indicate premeditation rather than a random act. Billy Lane, a private investigator and founder of We Are the Essentials, has highlighted the challenges investigators face in high-profile cases. He notes that careful analysis of the crime scene, technological evidence, and digital footprints is essential. You need to consider every angle, Lane explains. Was the entry forced or staged? Who had access to her home? Were there electronic devices that could reveal the suspect's movements? Each piece of evidence builds the story, but it takes time to confirm and cross-reference everything. Digital and technical analysis plays a critical role. Investigators are examining cell tower records to track devices near Nancy's home, analyzing potential license plate reader data, and reviewing social media activity for any clues. These measures can help law enforcement identify individuals who may have been in the vicinity, but authorities are careful not to disclose specifics publicly to protect the investigation. The family's involvement is another essential factor. Savannah Guthrie has not appeared publicly on the Today Show since the disappearance, focusing instead on assisting law enforcement and raising awareness through social media. Her posts have emphasized prayer, hope, and community involvement, helping to keep public attention on the search. Law enforcement relies on family input to clarify routines, habits, and potential risks that might not be immediately evident from the crime scene alone. Unverified reports, such as alleged ransom notes and online speculation, complicate the investigation. Experts warn that opportunists often attempt to exploit high-profile situations by circulating false claims. Authorities are trained to evaluate these claims methodically, separating potential leads from distractions. Every detail must be verified before taking action, ensuring that resources are focused on genuine evidence. The combination of physical evidence, technology, and family insight makes this investigation exceptionally delicate. Analysts emphasize that older victims with medical conditions require rapid responses, as any delay could have serious consequences. Law enforcement is working tirelessly to locate Nancy before her condition worsens, treating each hour as critical. And as the search continues, the emotional toll on the Guthrie family grows. While investigators pursue every possible lead, a shocking revelation may finally bring clarity to Nancy's disappearance. As the search for Nancy Guthrie stretches into its 5th day, the focus has shifted to the personal and emotional toll on her family. Savannah Guthrie, one of the most recognizable faces in television news, has been largely absent from the Today Show, prioritizing her mother's safety and coordinating with authorities. Savannah's older sister, Annie, was the last family member to see Nancy, dropping her off at home on Saturday evening after dinner. Understanding the family dynamics and routines has been key for investigators as they reconstruct the events of that night. Savannah took to Instagram to share a heartfelt plea for prayers and support. Her post highlighted both the family's faith and the urgency of the situation, urging the public to join in collective hope for Nancy's safe return. She described her mother as a woman of deep conviction, emphasizing the bond the family shares and the critical need for community assistance. The post resonated widely, drawing messages of support from around the world and keeping public attention on the ongoing search. Investigators are continuing to examine all evidence from Nancy's home, Blood traces, missing surveillance devices, and signs of possible forced entry suggest the situation may have been sudden and potentially violent. While authorities have not confirmed every detail, the combination of physical, digital, and eyewitness evidence forms the backbone of the ongoing investigation. Every clue, from her pacemaker syncing to her Apple Watch at 2 a.m. Sunday to the stationary position of her cell phone, is being carefully analyzed. These details help law enforcement narrow the window of her disappearance and identify potential leads. The sheriff's office, working in close coordination with federal agencies, is reviewing multiple devices, including phones and surveillance equipment, and analyzing cell tower data to trace any suspicious activity near Nancy's residence. They are also examining neighborhood cameras and license plate reader data to track potential movements in and out of the area. Officials continue to stress the importance of verified tips, asking the public to avoid speculation that could mislead the investigation. In addition to the law enforcement efforts, private investigators and volunteer organizations have been assisting. Groups like We Are the Essentials, founded by Billy Lane, offer support in searches, recoveries, and ground investigations. These teams, often composed of former law enforcement or military personnel, provide additional manpower and expertise to complement official efforts. Their focus remains on locating Nancy safely and ensuring that no lead is overlooked. The case has also highlighted the challenges of high-profile investigations. The alleged ransom notes and unverified online claims complicate the work of law enforcement and add emotional strain for the family. Experts emphasize that these distractions are common in high-profile disappearances as opportunists seek attention or financial gain. Authorities must carefully separate credible leads from false information to maintain the integrity of the investigation. Health concerns for Nancy are especially pressing. Her age and medical conditions, including a pacemaker and high blood pressure, make time of the essence. Authorities warn that delays in finding her could be life-threatening, increasing the urgency for all potential witnesses or those with information to come forward. The Pima County Sheriff's Department has made a direct appeal to the public. Anyone with information about Nancy's whereabouts is urged to call 520-351-4900 immediately. Even seemingly minor details, such as unusual activity near her home or unfamiliar vehicles in the neighborhood, could prove vital. The combined efforts of authorities, private investigators, and the community are critical to ensuring a safe resolution. As the investigation continues, the emphasis remains on hope and perseverance. The Guthrie family has demonstrated resilience in the face of an incredibly stressful and uncertain situation. While questions about how and why Nancy was taken remain unanswered, authorities continue to follow every lead and analyze all evidence with meticulous care. Final closure. The search is far from over, and every hour counts. As the community prays and law enforcement continues its meticulous work, one question remains: where is Nancy Guthrie, and will she be safely returned to her family? The answers may lie hidden in the clues left behind: blood traces, digital data, and the careful work of investigators. But hope remains that this mystery will soon be solved.